everyone, your girl Liz here. It's now officially 7:47. I've been up, obviously you guys know that. But yes, I've obviously gotten a lot of exercise. I just wanted to come on and share really quickly that you guys can definitely tell that we are down below 60, and I'm doing a really good job at controlling myself. Once again, really good job, Alyssa, right? So you guys can already tell that we're in the lows, about the mid 60s, just by looking at me. So obviously, last night I did do some really good calculations about the total money that I have coming in until I leave, and then the total money total money that's going out, obviously. And there's a decent amount of room, right? So I have enough, for, different, events. Yeah, different events. And also, I realized, if I get everything taken care of in the biggest month, the first half of September can also be super Lush Life stuff. So obviously, the Steelers run, right? I was looking at my medals. I was like, wait, guys, wait. The Steelers run. I can do that, and that can be a super day. I could actually maybe, I was planning on a whole day worth, right? So if I get enough saved, but I forget what day of the week that is on. But if it's on a day off, actually, let me look at that. Because there was a couple things that I saw or realized and was like, wait, maybe I could go back to those. Sense of obviously 9/11, because obviously you guys know I watched that video last night, and I did actually realize that because they shared that they actually did find the black box. So that's how they know that the terrorists tried to bounce the plane around, right, to gain control. So whether they did or didn't make it into the cockpit, that's something only the FBI knows. It's probably isn't it like Cheyenne Mountain? Isn't it in Cheyenne Mountain that they have the original recordings for everything? I think that is where that is. So yes, that is also where the supposed sounds of hell are, right? Remember I said that before? And you can actually see they just tweak a little background noise, and then they actually give a name for it. Again, they do that because they don't want to just outright say it's real. So anyhow, guys, it's like, I wonder if anybody, obviously nobody's going to break in there, but it's like, I wonder if there's somebody broke in there and they went into the master recordings, if they would find that there. But anyhow, guys, so, yes, that's actually how they knew. So, yeah, I obviously wanted to go to Shanksville, obviously, with Graham. She still wants to go there someday before she dies. And it's obviously been a very long time since I was there. You guys remember that from the photo book. So, obviously, I want to, maybe potentially go there, closer to 9/11. So, it's been a long time. So, anyhow, I just want to come on and obviously share that. And I'll get into more of, the video later on today here. So talk to you guys soon. Let's get back into the video. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. And then I'll be back on with you guys. So like I said, guys, you guys can definitely tell just by looking at me that we are in about the mid-60s, guys. Oh my god. I'm so happy and excited, guys. We are so freaking close. So, anyhow, guys, we'll officially go ahead and get going, get a little bit more exercise, and obviously check on when that Steelers run is. I'll talk to you guys soon. Everyone, your girl is here. It's now officially 8:48. The sun is still behind a freaking massive cloud. It has literally been like that since the last time that I filmed with you guys. But anyhow, I wanted to come on and share. I just got done with quite a bit of exercise. So I did want to come on and share that I did actually look as well at some Steelers tickets as well, because I was like, well, why don't I just go to a Steelers game? Well, actually, they're like $400. I thought they were only like $200, but, the really good seats are like $400, $500. I'm like, nope, Florida is definitely the place we're going. so we're not going to be doing that. And then I looked at the Steelers run, and you actually have to pick up your packet on Friday, the 4th, for the run on the 7th. So that's definitely 2 tanks of gas, which is like $60, and then the run itself to sign up is like $54. And I'm like, nope, not going to be doing that either. So, it's like, well, actually maybe, right? Like I said, just maybe, right? We'll do that Steelers run. But definitely not the Steelers game. No, that can be for next year. You know, that can be a super lush life day next year. You know, go to my first ever Steelers game, right? So that'll be really, really cool. You know, I mean, it would be nice to have 2023 and 2026, you know, on my Steelers run medals, you know. But yeah, like I said, I just did all that research, and then I got my playlist around. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, obviously, tomorrow, for tomorrow's playlist, but it'll definitely be the first run of next month, so August. I went ahead and I did similar and different, with the final 3 being like a trio, right? So, but a trio twist too, because the one is Redneck Crazy, right? So the girl ran on the guy, obviously, right? That's the purpose of that song, right? He ran around, or she ran around on him. And then the next song is Before He Cheats. So this time he was running around on her. So I probably could do the next song then, The Thunder Rolls, right? Which is also the guy running around on the girl. And then I can end it with Smile. So it'll be like a trio, and then it'll be like a quadruple header, right? So that'll be cool, you know, to have that. But other than that, guys, I'm just waiting for those clouds to clear. Waiting here about another half an hour, and then I can officially go get some bottles of water. We have to go get some of those, and then I have to get a couple things actually for my picnic that I realized I didn't have. So it won't be like a wasted trip. It'll be worth it. And then tonight, actually, as well, I was thinking Graham and I were going to have some pork chops for dinner, so, and some mac and cheese. You guys will actually see with the receipt, we decided to have some hot dogs and corn tonight, so that's what we're having. Or something like that. So because of that, they do have swimming from 4 to 6. So I was thinking about taking my anchor, and, you know, going down, you know, so getting, because I'm sure that's probably the same to an extent, right? I mean, obviously, again, swimming in the ocean is much different, and you guys saw that, right, whenever I was in Lake Erie, right? But, and obviously they showed that on Good Morning America, but, like, I just don't see how it would be different, right? Like, yeah, the vastness, but you're only at that certain part. Do you know what I'm saying? Kind of like I said yesterday, right? 10 feet down is 10 feet down, right? So whether there's miles upon miles upon miles and hundreds of miles until the next set of land, you're only at that specific part. So 10 feet is 10 feet. And actually, I have to look, because remember, obviously, salt water makes you more buoyant, right? That's why it's easier, and that's how I stayed up in 2025 for like 2.5 minutes, right, at the Sugarloaf Key. Do you guys, or I'm sorry, Far Beach, you guys remember that? I know you guys remember that. You guys really liked that video too, and seeing my skills, because that video has like 2,000 views. I was like, oh my god. So yes, you know, that'll be really, really good to do that, you know, so that'll be really, really fun. So yeah, anyhow, guys, like I said, though, I'll officially go ahead and get going. I'll do that research and see, you know, so you float easier. So does that mean that they don't shrink as fast, right? Like your lungs? I have to figure that out. So anyhow, I'll talk to you guys very soon. See, I just saw a South Carolina plate. Oh my god, guys. Somebody left their receipt. Oh, they'll have to find it. We'll have to search the cameras, I guess. Let's get these jugs. Those 4 will be good. Let's keep rolling. There we go, perfect. We got everything in there. Perfect, yep. Hey everyone, your girl is here, so as you guys can officially see now, here I am, ready for my picnic. I haven't watched any of my video today yet so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch all of that, and then you guys will officially see the rest of the films later on today. So let me go ahead and edit this while I eat, and then I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey everyone, your girl is here. So it's now officially 2:52. I have done obviously about 8,000 steps up to about 12,000 steps. I've definitely been going hog wild here ever since I finished my history. So obviously I watched about the final little command, right, that pushed Hitler over the edge and made him, right, take his own life. And I actually did not know. I was glad to learn, I guess, you know, refresh yourself with history, right? They actually burned him, and then they, like, dug him around and, like, put all this soil over top and then burned it again or something. It was absolutely insane, right? But that's what they did. So even his own people were kind of, like, fed up with him. But yeah, they talked about, you know, the enemy forces, or, well, them, so the Nazi soldiers, right? They were all getting pushed back, and he's like, we only have about, you know, a couple thousand left, you know? And it was very strategic, the bunker, so it was also kind of cool to refresh myself with it, and all these different checkpoints until you got to Hitler himself, which was just crazy. And then, obviously, you know, just the way that they went in, you know, like, you could kind of tell that they kind of knew, because they just, at the second checkpoint, they just had him give the guard his gun and his weapon, and then they let him go through. So that was kind of crazy, guys. And then I did watch a little bit about Camp 14, but it was kind of hard to watch, honestly. You know, and, well, they actually did go into more detail about, like, you know, it borders a river, right? Which also goes off what that escape was. And that person actually did come up with a book, right? It's called HR for Human Rights, NK for North Korea. So HRNK. That was kind of cool. Maybe I'll make that a thing to read next year. So you guys know, obviously last year, right, during 50%, I read a book, right? So maybe next year, depending on how hard it is, though, to read, some of that stuff can be a little bit much. But, you know, you need to hear it, though, right? And in other cases, yeah, you still do need to hear it. So it's like, that also goes off what I had said before, right, with you can't even hear one time, so you're basically acting as low as, I need everything to stop right now, right? I can't handle another second. That's how low that you're acting, right? Whenever you act like you can't hear the word ass one time, right? So it's like, stop, maybe such a better life for you, right? Or thinking of this might be a totally better life for you once you realize this, that nobody's perfect, and it actually makes sense, right? Make it make sense, right? And realize that nobody's perfect. That's a great way to make it make sense, instead of, I don't care, never okay, period. Well, that's your issue, right? So, and also don't forget, don't let people bully you into the easy way out, right? It's like, stop trying to justify what these dogs did. Well, that's again where you're confused. Totally better life for you when you realize that asking questions, right? And trying to make it make sense, since you're on this never okay period mindset, asking questions of what would you do if you were a dog, right? And how do you know that the previous owner didn't have a big belly like that, a big beer belly? And that's also not disrespectful, right? For example, James Harrison is bigger, right, than Antonio Brown. Linebackers are bigger than wide receivers. Is that disrespectful? No, that's a fact, right? So obviously, again, right, what would you do, right? That's asking questions. That's not trying to justify. Asking questions and aiding you in your way to make it make sense, right? Justification, on the other hand, is what criminals do. Well, you were asking for it. Yeah, okay, that's justification. Asking questions to start you on that path is not justification. Let's not be confused, right? So anyhow, let's get back into the video. So yeah, that's also kind of cool, to how that loops into that. But again, like you know, I'll try to read it and just kind of see, you know. But yeah, obviously then I obviously watched Ted Bundy, because obviously I did bring him up a couple times, right? And I said before, right, in this day and age, right, a much more like, easier to accept, right? I mean, you can't really make that judgment on that girl, right, back in December, right? If she's an atheist and thinks that this is everything we'll ever know, see, and do, well, then yes, it's going to be very catastrophic for her in this day and age, right? Mine is a much, like, you can just hear the tone is much different. Oh, in this day and age, right? Yeah, right. And giggling around, laughing, making a joke about it, right? And hopefully they are mature enough to actually see that and not think that you're laughing because you think it's funny, right? Again, there's a difference. It's actually, that's a time where you need to focus on your part in this and not be confused about why you're here with other humans when you're the only human, right, with your own obituary, right? Like I said with the girl at Night Nation Run, right? If she died and had a heart attack tomorrow, she's not going to write in her obituary, right? Oh, you know, and she ran at the Night Nation Run with Alyssa Moore, right? Go into great detail about me, about how I drove over 2.5 hours. It was both the new stuff. No, they're not going to do that, right? She's not going to do that. So, you know, if it's bad enough and you feel that it's okay, don't let other people bully you to be perfect, and don't let them bully you whenever you tell them that too, right? So, boom, right down in there, right? So, anyhow, like I said, you know, that was obviously really, really cool, you know, to do all that research then, and crazy how that actually came up and related back into it, because again, I have obviously shared him a couple times, you know, and I actually had no idea that, well, obviously I remember the charismatic, right, but I didn't remember him getting into Florida. I don't remember him escaping 2 times, which obviously the windpipe or the ceiling vent leading into another guard, that's crazy. Like, I didn't know that. I mean, some places have like hotels right outside the hospital, right, for nurses and stuff if the weather gets bad. So maybe they had the similar, I don't know. But that was crazy. It didn't say how he ever got back down to Florida though, because remember, he was up at like around Washington, Salt Lake City, Utah, right, Montana. But it doesn't ever say. And then also remember that Sambucha, right? I do remember him too before, and I shared that. That's also another time when Ted Bundy came up on my page, because remember I was like, Sambucha, right? Shared different times. People who you wouldn't believe the good stuff that they did before they became evil. And he actually worked at a suicide prevention line. What? That makes no sense at all. So yeah. Anyhow, guys, like I said, it's now officially time to go ahead and get ready. I am going to try that blue bikini, but I'm also just going to have to try those blue bottoms until I get a matching set. And obviously, I just am focused on the top to make sure that's okay. Hey, everyone, your girl is here. So I'm officially home now. Obviously, I didn't do as well as I thought I would, but I actually did equally as well at the same time. So I'm going to have to actually go back through. Obviously, I haven't looked at them yet and look at like the heart rate and stuff. But you guys can definitely tell. I don't know. There was just more of like a need to breathe in for some unknown reason. I don't know if it's like my allergies or what it really was, but there was just more of a need to breathe in. But I did my best, obviously, to treat it like I was out in the ocean and I wouldn't ever be able to stand up. Because the one, you can see, I went out to like the 9 feet with just swimming. And then I went ahead and I went back to where I could just kind of stand up, definitely like up to like my chest. And actually, this is crazy, but there was actually one time, she was a girl, so it was all right. But there was actually another guy that was kind of like off in the corner. It's like, I think because that guy was there, she didn't like speak up about it, like that one post that I recently shared. But you guys can also see again that is kind of one of those. It shouldn't be taboo, right? So obviously, again, look, if I looked, right, I would have known, right? And I shared that before, with people who think that they act like they don't look at anybody's pants. Right, sure, yeah, you've never looked at someone's pants. Anyhow, guys, the entirety of someone's pants, that's for disgusting idiots. Actually, no, it's not. So, yes, I do think that obviously maybe that could have been why she didn't, like, speak up about it, but, or maybe, you know, I was only up for, like, 5 seconds till I noticed it, because, again, that's obviously why I was wearing that today. So I do think that also played a part. But if I would have continued to stay like that, yeah, you gotta be like, hey, you know, like there's ways that you can signal, right? Obviously, like female talk, right? So obviously, there's ways to signal, like, hey, I gotta tell you something here, right? So, and obviously, we saw that with the immaturity of, oh my God, you know, a dad is washing his 2 daughters' hands with them, right? It's like, yeah, you know, and one of the comments said, yeah, and guess what? You know, I would have just been like, hey, you know, somebody's in there. I would have stood by the door, let everybody know, right? And we would have went about our day, right? That's the female's way of thinking again. And again, how women think differently than men, right? So yes, obviously, but like I said, it's probably because he was off to the side and I kept an eye out, right? And she was just like, all right, we'll probably just not say anything, but she got it. Oh my God, guys, accidentally, obviously, but hey, you know, like she could have seen some other time, right? I could have been, you know. So anyhow, guys, you know, but anyhow, officially, let's get back into the video. Thankfully, I think he was like walking away, but I was like, oh. Right, because from my vantage point, I could only see like the top little smidge, but it was actually basically all out, my entire areola, right? So yes, guys, it's pretty much all out, and it happened like 2 or 3 times, so that is definitely not a bikini that I'm going to be wearing snorkeling, for sure, but I actually could do, you know, definitely don't wear it on the charter, right, when other people are around, but, you know, I mean, I could do it on my own, I mean, right, so, I'm the only one, right? And that's also nonsense, because I did see it said accidental, well, obviously it's not genitalia, it's an accidental slip of the boobs, but again, that's nonsense as well. Yes, guys, more consistently, thought I was having a slip again, more consistently, or more what I was talking about, is actually the inconsistencies, too, that just, you know, make it just irritating and make people even have to think, oh my God, wait, should I be wearing this while I'm doing this, right? And I shared that before with, you know, inconsistencies, right? Like I said, with congressmen, right? Some people don't even get any punishment at all. Others do, and I shared that before with George Santos, and obviously police officers, right? Some people actually, yeah, they get charged with murder. Others don't, right? The inconsistencies, right? So, of course, right, and I shared that before with involuntary manslaughter, right? I mean, it was a freaking accident, right? Why do you go to jail for an accident, right? So again, there's just all these different inconsistencies, right? So, that also plays a part in, yeah, just nonsense, like I said, right? That also is added into all that entire inconsistency nonsense. Again, an accidental slip. Accident, right? Accidents happen, right? You don't prepare for accidents, right? That's why they're called accidents, right? Anyhow, let's get back into the video. Well, like I said, accidental. Okay, so then again, if it's an accident, why are you going to jail? Or getting in trouble? Accident equals accident, right? What is it called? Not catastrophe. preparing for the worst, right? Or accidents happen, right? And you don't prepare for accidents. If you I heard it somewhere sometime. It was something like you don't prepare for accidents, right? That's why they're called accidents, and they just happen, right? I forget what the heck it was called. But anyhow, you guys get the point though, right? So it's like, okay, so again, why? An accident is an accident. Oh no, there still needs to be trouble. Right, again, that's one of those times where you choose to, either because you're corrupt and power has made you corrupt, or you just don't want to be human, right, towards people. You know, there's just a lot that goes into, I'm choosing not to let it go, right? It's not like somebody's speeding through and you're like, well, guess what? Keeping safe streets outweighs me writing you a ticket, right? The safe streets outweighs innocent people being in danger from you flying down the road. Sorry, not sorry, right? But again, with that kind of stuff, again, an accident is an accident. I actually read it on one of the Florida things. It says, you know, if it's deliberate, yeah, you can be a registered sex offender. But if it's not, and if it's just an accident, again, accident, right? But anyhow, guys, like I said, so I only stood there for about probably like 5-10 seconds at the most, and then I officially went out. I was holding it, you know, pretty well, because there was some water actually came up under the mask, so I had to tighten it super tight. So like I said, I might honestly consider investing in a brand new you know, mask, right? A snorkel mask. So, but like I said, I did really well. And then the final 2 times were just holding my breath. But obviously, I did do minimal breathing in. And obviously, I didn't go down, like, completely under. But it's the same as, because I want to be able to breathe in, right? If my top of the snorkel is under the water. So I did, like, hold my breath in essence for as long, because my body moving would be the essence of going down. So that was kind of like a good indicator, right, into how I would do. So yeah, it definitely seemed, like I said, really good. I just don't know why there was such a need to like breathe and breathe and breathe. But I definitely did really well, despite, you know, having to breathe in all the time. Like, it wasn't because I was like so beside myself that I wasn't going to be able to enjoy snorkeling, right? So that was kind of really fun. But yeah, like I said, we'll continue keeping up with it, and then we'll officially just keep rolling. So anyhow, I do have to help my grandma now with dinner, so I'll go ahead and do that. But I just want to come on and do a nice little celebration video, guys. I'm very happy and excited to just continue right on along, and just focus on that breathing. I don't know why I wanted to like breathe in so much. I didn't understand it at all. But also I did have a hard time going down because I didn't take my anchor. But like I said, just kind of, you know, build on this, you know, and just kind of see, you know, how well I do. So yeah, I'll officially go ahead and post all of those then at the end. And then that'll pretty much be that. So yeah, let's officially go help Grandma dinner. Everyone, your girl is here, so I've officially now been out of the shower. It is now 6:52. As you guys can officially hear. So I did want to come on and share. Obviously, I am going to have just one more film here yet after my, you know, hair dries and everything. I'll probably watch Blind Spot until my watch charges, and then I'll do it. And then everything will just be ready to add in that final film. But tonight, we're going to do a spontaneous bathroom clean again. So obviously, last night, I was a little bit clumsy. Obviously, my clarifying shampoo bottle, right? Because obviously, I hadn't clarified. And usually, about the middle of the week is when I clarify. So, obviously, I had a boo-boo. And I didn't, or I'm sorry, the toilet bowl was opened, right? And whenever I was moving it from the shower into the, you know, my cupboard, my man-made cupboard, right? And it actually is a man-made cupboard, because you guys remember when Grandma and I put that together. So yes, obviously you guys saw what happened. Well, actually you guys didn't see, But I accidentally dropped it right into the shower or toilet bowl, bathroom bowl. Well, some people would say it's a bathroom bowl. Others say the sink is the bathroom bowl. Others say some of those electronic cleaners for your jewelry are the bathroom bowl, right? But some people wouldn't want to call it that because it's kind of like a negative connotation as to something that's very positive, right? So anyhow, guys, obviously, right, cleaning jewelry, right? Most people have jewelry because they're married, right? So yes, or friendship bracelets and all sorts of other, so jewelry has a positive connotation. So don't call, a manual automatic cleaner a toilet bowl or bathroom bowl. Anyhow, guys, so yes, obviously then I had to use my towel to obviously clean it up. I immediately picked it up and put it on my vanity, my sink, right? Not a vanity, a sink. So obviously you guys know how I am. I'm really picky and I like to be clean. So obviously I used my soap tonight in the sink and cleaned that off afterwards. Although I didn't clarify again tonight though. But I obviously did that. And then I went ahead and obviously washed that towel. So I didn't use that towel tonight. I have a clean towel. So yeah, there's just a lot that I'm obviously deciding to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So we're just going to go ahead and just clean that because the floor got all sopping wet then, and it was just icky. So anyhow, like I said, Graham's out there really, really loud right now. So yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a nice little clean, spontaneous bathroom clean. On time for a spontaneous bathroom clean Thursday. So that'll be my final segment though, but like I said, I'll probably finish Atypical, honestly, just because I did do a lot of really good YouTube yesterday and today. So insane as well how in Atypical tonight again, they were talking about exactly what I was talking about. This is absolutely insane, guys, how many times this has happened, right? So obviously you guys remember in Atypical, yesterday, right? They were talking about exactly what I was talking about, the essence, right? And then obviously now tonight, they were talking about kind of like an ethical dilemma, right? So you can, the train is, you have to choose the one of two unfavorable, right, outcomes, well, or stipulations, right? So obviously, right, you can go to the left, right, and there will be 5 people that die, or you can continue going straight, and then people that you don't know, 20 people that will die. So that was absolutely insane. And then obviously now Elsa and the dad broke up, so definitely curious to see how this final season goes and the final 3 of episode 3. But anyhow, let's get back into the video. So yeah, I'll officially go ahead and get on into that, and then yeah, that'll pretty much be it. So like I said, one final segment, and then I'll talk to everyone tomorrow. It's going to be a really fun Friday. Talk to you guys soon, and then tomorrow. Hey everyone, your girl Liz here. So as you guys can officially see now, it was officially about 18 minutes, which is about normal for me. So anyhow guys, now I will officially, or 16 to 18 usually is how long it takes me. So I'm officially all ready now to just spend the rest of the night relaxing. Obviously I will probably share just bits and pieces of tonight then, tomorrow morning. So yeah, other than that, we'll officially go ahead and get going, get this video up and produced. So not really much else to talk about. So anyhow guys, I'll officially talk to you guys tomorrow.